Ultimately, death would enthrall more than it frightened, and the devil would frighten him hardly at all. God does not want human beings to be afraid, he would one day preach to the congregation in a posh London suburb. God's only desire is that people reach out passionately and hungrily for mercy and love and grace. Unlike most Protestant theologians of the 20th century, Dietrich Bonhoeffer was not the child of a minister. The sixth of 8 children, his twin being the 7th, he was born on February the 4th, 1906, in Breslau, into a family of prodigiously talented humanists who preferred spending religious holidays in the festive company of relatives and friends rather than in church. "Pop guns, soldiers," he wrote in his first letter to Father Christmas. Over the years, he would ask for musical instruments, suits of clothes, fur hats, shirts and ties, trips abroad, shoes for every occasion, and the works of Immanuel Kant and G.W.F. Hegel. His wishes were most often granted. The family lived at 9 Birkenwäldchenstrasse in the affluent Breslau suburb of Scheidnich. Across the street, a narrow park traced the bend in the Alte Oder River, south beyond the Dombrücke to the city zoo and Bishop's forests. To the north, a path cut through dense pine woods to the cemetery and to the psychiatry and nerve clinic where Dietrich's father worked. Sabina recalled a summer afternoon when her twin brother disappeared after the call to dinner. It was during a heat wave in Lower Silesia. Dietrich, tanned and sporting a shock of flaxen hair, had been larking about in the backyard, hoping to ward off the midges. Finally, he took shelter in a garden niche, deep in the overgrown field between the rose arbor and the edge of the property. As his nursemaid stood on the veranda repeating the dinner call, Dietrich paid no mind. Heedless of the heat and the fading light, he was content in the solitude of his secret place in the summer garden. With its thick walls, narrow windows, and piercing spires, the house stood on the eastern bank of the Alte Oder, off a cobblestone street abutting another narrow wood. Arches and corbels enlivened the brickwork, and touches of Gothic Baroque appeared in the finials, overhangs, and trussing. A hipped roof and screened-in porch entry with deep eaves and dormer and eyebrow windows gave the impression of a low German farmhouse extending whimsically in every direction. But for the rose arbor and a small vegetable garden, both carefully tended, the backyard was left to grow wild according to fashion. Hens and roosters skittered about the yard and across the aging tennis court. Goats and sheep roamed freely in and out of the stables and even into the house when the doors were left open. Dietrich's mother kept a children's zoo with rabbits, guinea pigs, turtle doves, and squirrels, a terrarium with lizards and snakes, and collections of birds' eggs and mounted beetles and butterflies. In the shade of a linden tree, Dietrich's father and older brothers built a tree house on dark piers, a lattice-work affair, with a small stage for skits. One summer, Dietrich helped those same older siblings dig an underground passageway from the arbor to a boulder. Beyond the family's 3 acres lay what the neighborhood children called the wilderness. There, the land rolled softly toward the river and into a bog, where they collected algae, worms, lizards, and bullfrogs for their terrariums, and things to inspect under their microscopes. Word that the family was moving to Berlin, more than 300 kilometers from Breslau, came as a surprise to the children and elicited grumbling in the ranks. In 1912, the year Dietrich turned 6, Dr. Karl Bonhoeffer was offered the chair of neurology and psychology at Friedrich Wilhelms University in Berlin, a prestigious post overseeing the clinic for nervous and psychiatric disorders. At Breslau, which had numbered Max Born, Erwin Schrödinger, Fritz Haber, and Otto Stern among its many Nobel laureates, his position had been more than respectable. But Berlin offered greater prominence for Karl's clinical studies, along with a better salary and more possibilities for the children's development.